Now, there's no relationship between that song and what I'm about to play, which is Ann Romney cutting off Mitt Romney on a CBS News interview with someone named Jan Crawford. Listen.
Is that I believe I have the experience and know-how and vision to help Americans, to help the middle class of America. The president's going on a bus tour. He's got no new answers. All he's saying is, let's go government some more.
Well, I feel like all he's doing is saying, let's kill this guy.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask this question. Is Ann Romney doing more harm than good? Frankly, Mitt Romney is coming across as a weakling and a wimp. We all know that. I've said it for a long time. Murdoch came out and said it this week. He said that he seems to play everything safe. He lacks stomach. He lacks heart. He's not nearly as tough as he needs to be in Obama. I said the same thing now for months. Murdoch came out and said the same thing. I'm not the only one. But once Murdoch said it, suddenly the middle of the roaders were able to say the same thing, which is fine. They have to follow the leaders. I understand that. The question that I have to raise now, which is about Ann Romney. I don't think she's doing him any favors by cutting him off in the middle of an interview with a liberal hack. I'm sorry. And I have to ask you, is Ann Romney doing more harm than good? She's not running for office. I don't want to hear a man who's already seen as weak being cut off by his wife in the middle of an interview. And so, therefore, we have a problem. Ann Romney cuts off Mitt Romney. First of all, Romney's only going before softball interviews or liberal interviews. He won't come near a conservative. He hates conservatives. We know that. I told you I will vote for him because I'll pick a big businessman over a big government man. Let me make it very clear in case you missed it. If I have to make a choice between a big business candidate and a big government candidate, I'll pick big business for obvious reasons. Nevertheless, there's something wrong with this picture. He's wimpy. He looks wimpy, sounds wimpy, talks wimpy, walks wimpy. And now the wife cuts him off in the middle of a lib interview. Cuts him right off. I can never imagine Mrs. Reagan, Nancy Reagan, ever doing that to Ronald Reagan. Never. Romney needs to stand up and make a case for himself, and he's not doing it. I'm not attacking him. I'm criticizing him. I'm trying to move the guy out of the perimeter of the ring and telling him to get in the middle and start throwing punches. What Romney is doing is dancing around the edge of the ring with his back near the ropes. He's dancing. He's doing footwork. That's a boxing strategy. Obama, on the other hand, has been punching him from before the fight began. And the fact of the matter is Obama's winning because Obama's fighting. Romney's losing because no one knows who Romney is, know what he stands for, because he refuses to come out from the perimeter of the ring and start to fight back and to explain to the people who he is. That's number one. Next, the thing with Ann, I'm sorry, I know you're not supposed to say a word, but look, I have said things about Mr. Bush's wife, Laura. I thought she was making mistakes along the way. She's a public figure. I did it in a classy way. I didn't attack her on a guttural level. I didn't make it personal. I thought she was very much like a Stepford wife. I thought that she was a little too much like a Stepford wife, and I said so during the Bush years. You know that. Then Mrs. Obama, as you well know, is a hypocrite through and through. Says one thing about eating organic vegetables and is seen knocking off the fries and the ribs. So I called her the Lord of the Fries. I thought that was very funny. I thought that was clever. I thought that was humorous. So now it comes down to Mitt Romney and Ann Romney. She's in the public arena. She's a little too prominent, and she's stepping on her husband, and I don't think it's smart. He can't dance on the edges anymore. It's not round one where they're touching gloves already, just getting their range. He's got the range already. Now open up. Give him a blow. Okay? Let go. Show him what you can do. Show the people you can fight. Because if you can't fight this Marxist phony, how are you going to fight the Islamists who want to eat our breakfast? That's what we're saying. If you're not capable of fighting this fraud, Obama, and his corrupt criminal machine, how are you going to fight the corrupt world, Mitt? That's what we're saying. It's as simple as that. What is Romney doing? Romney's fighting him on one issue only, which is jobs. Jobs, 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 jobs. It's a monotone. It's not the only issue in the world. Sure, it's important. Yes, it's a big one, but it's not the only one. As I wrote in Trickle Down Tyranny, once a country loses its honor, it can never be regained. What about our nation? What about borders, language, and culture? What about the heart of the nation? What about the spirit of the nation? Why is there no discussion of this? He cannot constantly play a defensive fight game. He's got to go on the attack and make Obama start defending himself. I know Mitt Romney's a good man. I know he's a nice man. I know he's a decent man. I know he's an honest man. But that may not be enough to be president of the United States. He is fighting a vicious left-wing fanatic regime, and we need someone tougher than this to take on this vicious left-wing fanatic machine. And if Romney doesn't have the guts for him, how is he going to have the guts for the evildoers in the Middle East? And the evildoers who are trading us into eternity. The evildoers who are dumping garbage products on our shore because they have a Congress that they bought like a bunch of prostitutes who won't impose tariffs on them, which I've been calling for since trickle-up poverty. We need a 20% tariff on everything that comes from China. And then you'll see manufacturing come back to this country. It's unheard of. If you knew the first thing about business, you'll understand every country has tariffs except us because we're the dumbest nation on earth. No, not that we're dumb. We have the most corrupt politicians of any nation in the Western world. They can be bought and sold for any amount of money you want, and they'll do whatever the buyers want them to do. So if I say put in tariffs in order to get manufacturing going in this country again, and then Trump says the same thing, and others who know business say the same thing, and then we hear from the Wall Street Journal and the Business Roundtable and the this one. Oh no, we believe in free trade. We believe in no tariffs. They're just paid lobbyists for China. Yes, they're saying it because they're being paid by China to say it. The only thing that can rebuild manufacturing here is to make foreign goods meet the cost of domestically made goods. Every country on earth that wants to survive introduces tariffs. So why doesn't Romney talk about tariffs? Why is he not saying a word about it? The guy's in Ohio, the Rust Belt. This is what he should be talking about, not be seen on a water ski July 4th. So we've been arguing over my statement, which is meant as a criticism, not as an attack on Romney, which is your wife is not making you look good. And I've asked, is Ann Romney doing more harm than good? And I think it's a very fair question. I think personally, I believe she's taking too prominent a role. Every time she gets tough, he looks weaker when he's already seen as a wimp and as a milquetoast. And the last thing he needs now is a wife stepping on his words. That's how I see it. I'm sorry. I think she's a smart woman. There's no question in my mind that today a marriage the partnership of marriage means that there's no such thing as a man alone or a woman alone. It's a partnership. However, the partnership's not running for office. You'll notice who has disappeared into the background. You'll notice that the communist-in-chief's wife, Michelle, the controversial Michelle, is not even giving vegetable cooking advice. Have you noticed that smart as she is, as blunt as she is, as outspoken as she is, have you noticed that Obama's brain has told her to sort of step away from the spotlight? Your husband's running, not you. You're not really that loved, number one. No matter what the people in the media may put out, Michelle Obama is not loved that much, by the way. The majority of American people are offended by many of her comments, which they've never forgotten, which I don't have to remind you of. So she's smart enough, and so is the team, to keep her in the background. I can never imagine Barack Obama and Michelle Obama giving an interview, let us say on Fox News, right? And in the middle of it, Obama's a little meek in what he's saying, and she would step on his words and say, what he means is this, and he would dummy up. I don't think that would happen. They got their act together. So look, this is serious business here, because you know what's at stake. I don't have to repeat it again.